Hello, this is the Mega Bloks Collector Series Star Trek Enterprise, the original NCC-1701 from the original TV series. Now this set here, fully built as shown with the included stand, weighs over 9 pounds, about 9¼ pounds, and it is almost 34 inches in length. That's almost 3 feet. With 3,098 pieces, it took me much more than the better part of a day to get this fully completed. And I feel like it's definitely worth it. This thing is impressive on display, and it's nice to be able to sit back finally after putting it together piece by piece and just enjoy looking at it like this. Just enjoy its overall shape, its overall design, and just its presence on display. They did a very good job of staying to the original design and just being very authentic to that original TV prop. Now this is definitely a display model only. It is not intended to be played with at all. It's somewhat integrated actually into the base because with all of that weight and how much of that weight is hanging over the edges, they needed it to be very structurally sound. And I'm happy that it actually is very structurally sound, but as a result, it's not going to be easy to display this if you have a lot of strong fishing wire and you want to display it hanging or something like that. It has an ugly anchor that is hidden away in the base right now that's difficult to not include in the build. The saucer section, you can see the top of it looks like it's built of a lot of stacked up plates, and it mostly is. When you look in a little bit closer, you can see a little bit of difference between the gray of one part to the next, and I wish they had done a little bit better on that. There are no stickers on this set whatsoever, so anything that looks like it is decorated is a printed piece, and I appreciate that very much. And there are a lot of printed pieces. Also, for the saucer section, they went for studs on the top and studs on the bottom, which looks much better than going with anti-studs or bottoms of plates on the underside. Speaking of plates, the entire heavy saucer section is held up by an assembly that is just 5 plates thick, which is a bit of an engineering marvel if you ask me. That's actually very well anchored deep into the saucer section and goes all the way down into the base, and that includes the ugly anchor that I mentioned. On the side you see an unprecedented number of printed pieces, and they didn't go too cheap with these, just repeating kind of generic, light looking things. They have many different patterns of them, and you have to be careful to pick out the correct ones. Here again you can see just a little bit of variation in the gray tone, the value, and also the hue, and a couple of these prints didn't line up all that well, so that's a little bit disappointing. But again, I am still appreciative of the fact that they are prints and not stickers that I would have had to apply, especially these ones that go around multiple curved surfaces like this here at the back. The warp drive nacelles are well scaled, and man, are they made of a lot of pieces. These are dense with small pieces, and they are fairly solid. There's not a lot of hollow or open and empty space inside. If you look at this just from the back, you can see a little bit of color peeking through. The insides of these sub-assembly builds are actually very colorful, which helps you to line up the parts when you're looking at the instructions. These nacelles also have my favorite printed parts in the set for some reason. I don't know, they just look pretty good to me. Although one of them here was, once again, just a little bit offset. Doesn't look so bad from a distance, but up close you can see how it's off. With those nacelles as dense and heavy as they are and hanging way off the backs of the pylons are actually made of a single piece, so that's all one structure, and it's fiber reinforced plastic, so it's a composite, and it all comes just molded together in order to provide the very necessary structural strength here. I do wish they had printed the insides, that kind of grating detail there, to get that a little bit darker. Now the collector domes at the fronts of the nacelles have a nice little trick. They have light bricks integrated deep inside of them, and those flicker a bit so they can put on a little bit of a light show for a short amount of time. They do go out pretty quickly, and that's just to save batteries. The base is actually the first thing that you build in this kit, and I'm not particularly impressed with the shape of it, especially with the gap at the front. But I do very much like this plaque here. That is not a metal piece, it's just plastic, it's just painted, but they put a nice wash on it, and it makes it look very believable. It looks like a brass plaque. This entire base also acts as a nice little display platform for the 2 included figures. Those figures are obviously Captain Kirk and Spock, and these are exclusive to this set, these variants of them. I believe you will not be seeing these exact ones released in any other set, in any other form. And obviously Spock has his custom hand piece there that was molded for this variant to give off that intergalactic peace sign so many of us have come to know and love. I really like the accessories that they included here. The scale is very good. They have nice paint applications on them. The paint of the gold going around the collars at the bases of the necks go all the way around, and these are just truly very collectible. Also, the head molds are done well, and even the hair is molded up quite nicely. Now for some bad news. The first Spock that I got with this set looked like this. The black paint applied to create his hair was smudged all over the thing. That was no fun to behold for an exclusive figure in such a big, expensive set. Also, I was missing a bag of parts. Literally, an entire bag of parts was missing from this kit. Now, obviously, Mega Bloks made it right. I was able to get the missing parts and a replacement Spock from them, and all as well, but it really would have been nice to not have to get replacement parts. I want to get all the parts right from the start, especially in something so expensive. Errors that egregious are rare, but they're not rare enough. You combine that with the little variances of color between the different gray parts and misaligned prints a bit, and Mega Bloks definitely still has farther to go in the quality department. It is significantly better than it was 3 or 4 years ago, but I feel like it's not quite as good as it was about 1 year ago. Their design work, though, remains top-notch, and the engineering that went into this to make such a heavy thing balance and just look natural is really, really good. And this thing does look so impressive on display. But that's it for my look at this set. If you have any thoughts about it that you would like to share, please leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.